What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm just going to talk a little bit about my plans to open a vape shop in about 2 years and how I plan to get there and some of the research that I've done, and just overall talk a little bit about it for the first time in one of these videos. So stay tuned. My name's Oz and I'm a quitter. So not very long ago, I started doing a bunch of research about what it might be like to open a vape shop, what that might entail, what the pitfalls might be, and just overall how one would go about accomplishing that. A lot of changes are about to take place in my life. I'm going to go on the road as a truck driver, and soon you'll see my videos being made from the back of a semi-truck. And the plan is to get rid of all my bills at home and to go on the road and just stack money for a solid 2 years. I'm going to try to average a savings of about $500 a week for 2 years. At the end of that, hopefully I will have $50,000 saved up. And what I plan to do, at least at this time, if nothing changes too dramatically in the regulatory aspect of vaping by then, I'd like to open myself a vape shop. I've done a lot of research toward that end, both like on YouTube and on the internet in general, and looking at local regulations and stuff, and I realize a lot of that may change, but I have a lot of thoughts about how I might go about it and how I might make that successful. So firstly, I'm going to eliminate all my bills here and save for a couple of years. It may be a little longer. Maybe I might get lucky and be able to do it a little sooner. But I'm basically trying to shoot for $40,000 to open a shop and another $10,000 to live on until I hopefully get it started and get a little money coming in. That $40,000 is going to include enough to keep the shop itself running as far as rent and utilities and stuff for a period of about 6 months, maybe longer. Because with the strategy that I plan to enact with this shop, which I'll talk about a little bit, it's going to take a while. I mean, it's going to take a while at any rate, from what I understand, for you to start becoming profitable. But the goal is not to borrow a bunch of money, not to owe anyone any money, and not to go into debt. So the strategy that I plan to employ, beyond the fact that it's going to take a while anyway to start becoming profitable, will take a while to take hold if it works the way I hope it's going to work. So part of the philosophy that I'm going to try to enact with this is that, number one, I'm going to focus on having the best selection of e-liquid, of premium e-liquid available in my area. I live in Texas. A lot of the shops here near me don't have a very good selection of e-liquids, especially premium e-liquids. A lot of them have these weird name not off brands that no one's heard of and stuff like that, and they will have some premium liquids too. There's one shop in particular that has quite a few premium liquids, and that's really all they carry is premium stuff, but they're exorbitantly expensive. I mean, I went in there and I bought a bottle about a week ago, and after tax it was over $30 for a 100 ml bottle of e-liquid that I could get on 8 Vape for $9.99. So I'm going to be using this to my advantage, is the plan. If you think about it, if I can get that same bottle of liquid, say on 8 Vape or another website, for somewhere between $10 and $12, then although I don't yet know the actual rates, the actual wholesale rates, I can pretty much bet that I'm going to get it for less than that $9.99. I mean, I'm probably going to get it for somewhere around $8 or $9 a bottle, max, you know. And so when these guys are selling these liquids for, $27, $28 a bottle, and they're getting them for $8 or $9 a bottle, I mean, come on, how much profit do you need, bro? I mean, and in my opinion, it runs into this thing like, say, we have a grocery store here. Okay, we have a grocery store, and this other grocery store has opened up and they have really good prices. So what happens? The other grocery store, because the people are shopping at the other place, just use Walmart as an example. Because people are shopping at the Walmart to get their groceries because it's cheaper, in order to keep their doors open, the other grocery store has to raise their prices, and they also have to cut in services in order to maintain the same level of profits. Because they have a certain amount of fixed expenses, if you will, rent, electricity, these things that are fixed costs and that will carry over. They have to make changes in their pricing and stuff like that to compensate for the fact that people are not shopping there. So they just slowly bleed out and go out of business. And I think that is kind of where these vape shops are. They're in this situation where they're not selling very much because people can get it so much cheaper online. So therefore they have to charge higher prices in order to be profitable to pay for their rents and stuff. Anyway, so my strategy is from the outset, from the get-go, when I go and I start looking for a building, okay, and I start looking for a location, I'm going to be looking for a location that is fairly inexpensive. It may not be as good or as prime of a location, but I'm going to be paying less. And there are places here that you can get for less than $1,000 a month. And a lot of these other vape shops, I guarantee you they're paying $1,500, $2,000 a month for rent. And that's hard for them to maintain when they're selling juice for $27 a bottle, because who's going to go to the shop and buy a bottle of juice every week when it's $30 a bottle? I mean, that's a situation where things are so expensive that the only time people are probably going in there to buy a bottle of juice is when they have no other option. They're out of juice. If they order it online, it's not going to get there fast enough. They have to go get a bottle of liquid. So they go and they buy this bottle of liquid. So my plan is to undercut these guys. Now, granted, that's going to bring me to a situation where I am not making as much of a profit off of each piece that I'm selling in the shop. But the strategy is to do a bit of advertising, perhaps some ads on the radio, stuff that you can actually do, and to ride it out, to have enough money in the bank to ride it out for 6 months or so, until word starts spreading that, hey, this shop has e-liquid for $22 a bottle, and every place else is $27 and $30 a bottle. Now, I'm obviously not going to be able to sell it for what the online retailers can sell it for, because they don't have any overhead. They don't have a brick and mortar location, and there's just all of these advantages they have over a brick and mortar shop. But people in general, I believe, would like to give their patronage to a shop. They would like to go down the street and buy a bottle of e-liquid rather than doing it online and waiting and dealing with potential problems with shipping and stuff like that. People would rather go into their local shop. But you have to give them incentive. You can't charge 3 times as much for a bottle of liquid and expect people to come and buy from you. And in my opinion, whoever comes up with the business model that allows them to sell it for, even just a 115% markup rather than this 200% markup that's going on, is going to win in the long run if you can wait it out until the public realizes how much cheaper you are. So that's the strategy. That's the main portion of the strategy, is to set up a business model, set up an amount of fixed costs that allow me to sell my product for cheaper than all the competition, and also at the same time to have a bigger selection and a better selection than the competition when it comes to e-liquids. when it comes to mods, I'm going to shoot for some tried and true, some things that I know that work well, and put together some kits. And a lot of these shops seem to be kind of geared towards cloud chasing. They seem to be kind of geared towards these larger mods and kind of pushing people toward that style of vaping, whereas I'm going to have some of that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to have a good selection of cloud chasey type stuff and sub-ohm tanks and all, and everything that people want. But I'm also going to put some focus into something that I feel like a lot of these shops, at least in my area, are not doing, and that is catering to the smoker who's trying to quit. A lot of these shops in my area seem to be catering to existing vapors, and those types of people typically are going to do a lot of their shopping online. They may want to go into your shop and shoot the shit and, you know, blow some clouds and stuff like that and hang out, but you know, when it comes to building a loyal customer, building a relationship with a customer that's going to be loyal and it's going to come to you every week for the things that they need, you need to get somebody off of the cigarettes. And some of the strategies that I may have may be some talks, like a weekly quit smoking seminar that I could have in the shop, and have, you know, some kits that I have put together that are not necessarily pods, although I do plan to carry some pods and stuff, but mouth to lung type of things that I'm going to have a good selection of, the mouth to lung stuff. And I don't have it right here, but you know, things like the Zenith and the Slide and the Nautilus, and maybe some more expensive stuff like the K-Fun. Some mouth to lung setups that are more similar to a cigarette, but yet at the same time, they're not the shitty battery life that you get in the pod systems and stuff. You know, like you could use an OBS cube like this and put the Zenith or the Slide on it in a mouth to lung setup, and this 3,000 mAh internal battery is going to last somebody all day, if not 2 days, with that little 15-watt mouth to lung setup. And you could put together kits for that, for like that, for 50, 60 bucks, you know, I mean 70, 80 maybe, you know. And that's something that I feel like a lot of these shops, at least here locally, are not doing. They're like trying to get people off of, they're not even really trying to get people off of cigarettes. They're more like trying to cater to people who are already vaping, and trying to cater to people who are chasing new mods and chasing clouds, and trying to push people in that direction when they come in the shop. When you come in the shop, you're looking for a little pod, you're looking for just something simple and a way to get off smoking, and they're trying to push you to these mods and tanks and stuff that you don't necessarily want or need if you're a 50-year-old woman coming in to try to stop smoking. And you know, so that's another strategy that I'd like to employ. Those are just a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and some of my strategy as far as opening the shop goes. And all of this is just based on research and podcasts and stuff that I've looked at, and you know, my own thoughts on how I feel about the local shops and the way that they conduct business. And it's all subject to change. You know, this is a 2-year plan. It's going to take a long time for me to like gather all of my thoughts and to be ready to do this at the end of this 2 years. So I hope you guys will like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them down below. And I hope you'll stick around with me through this journey. It's going to be a long journey, but I believe that there may be a lot to be learned, maybe from me, and also things that I can learn from my subscribers and stuff as time goes on. And maybe you can watch how my thoughts on this develop, and watch how I do things and how I go about this process, and maybe it could help you towards opening your own shop or a business in the future. So thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and come along with me on this journey. Thanks for watching.